And mind you, like, I still believe in this system, but I do like to play devil's advocate. I do like to dabble in that unspecified realm of alternate government. I like that one. I still think you need to find the gif for the like a hypnotoad. Just look up hypnotoad gif, and then put that one up. Everybody's seen Futurama. Everybody knows what the hypnotoad is. Anyway, so for those of you tuning in, this is the show. I'm Jake.
Did you actually start it?
You are the worst fucking person. I swear to God. It's Drake, and this is the Jake and Drake show. And
I'm Drake.
yeah, good job, man. So we're mulling around, going through memes, setting up the channel. We're actually going to tell you what's in the agenda. We're going to talk about overthrowing the government, and we're going to talk about the upcoming election, and we're going to talk about the live stream, the impending live stream. So back to overthrowing the government, constitutional or not. There we go. Beautiful, dude. I like it.
Oh, I lost it. There it is.
I know you can't put sound with it, but like the hypnotoad sound, it's like.
I could put sound with it.
Yeah, but then like now you're like competing with like setting the sound levels for your voice, and that. Ooh, that's even better. Here's what I think. Is there a way to make your Discord picture bigger?
I don't think so.
No, because it's pretty. Like I think if I did mine, let me cut my camera real quick. It's just there. That's it. That's it. I got the camera on and I'm here. But yeah, so let's say the election is one way or the other. Okay, so if one team wins, we'll even go third team. We'll forecast third team, right? So if Team Blue wins, okay, if Team Blue happens to win, is Team Red trying to overthrow the government? Darian, Bueller.
So what exactly is the question?
Yes.
You've got
So
me.
we're going through like alternate realities. So in one reality, blue team wins. Is red team trying to overthrow the government?
I don't think they're going to overthrow the government. I think they're going to burn the, buildings down.
You think red team would burn buildings down? They haven't burned a single fucking building down.
Oh wait, red.
Elephant. That's elephant team. You have donkey team, elephant team, and then I don't know what you guys
Dude,
are.
they both smell the same.
Well, I'm telling you, the only
When you
people that's
step in a
burned
pile of shit, if it's a blue pile of shit or a red pile of shit, they both smell the same when you're scraping it off your shoe. So, um, do I think that the red team folk would try to overthrow the government if their candidate loses? No, I don't.
but at the same time, the red team probably has like the bigger arsenal. Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
bigger than the blue team. I mean, the gold team's
Definitely.
probably got a lot of arsenal themselves, but yeah, and that's what I got to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. That is what I have to deal with. That guy right there. Like he can't even like, dude. How do you eat an ice cream cone without having to like fucking shower? How does that happen?
Oh, it's difficult.
Yeah, very difficult. Like, in fact, you look like a popsicle guy. Not even you're a flavor ice guy, dude. You actually have to tear off like the little plastic thing, put it in your mouth, suck on like the fruit juice, the frozen fruit juice. Like, yeah, yeah. You need to clean that shit up. We need a more refined picture of you. But I do approve of the hold up. Those aren't the ASSs.
Those are the ESSs.
Yeah. I was trying to be funny. I hate the ESSs with a passion. In fact,
Well, then
I could open these tough boxes right over here and I could pull like 5 pair. I'm not a fan of them.
sweet. Send them to me. I've got the I've
I
got the right
can't,
inserts.
dude. I can't send them to you because when I get out, I have to turn them back in.
I see.
Dude, and it's stupid. I mean, sidebar, like there's a lot of things the army when you retire, they say we want back. And you're like, dude, but like I wore that. In fact, I wrapped it around my testicles to keep them warm, like in those cold desert winters, which they do get fucking cold. But neither here nor there. I'm not a fan of ESS, main, mainly because they're not polarized. For some reason, the military does not pay for polarized shades. You know, if yep, there goes another one. But those are dodos. No, those are
Sheep.
dude. They look like penguins. I was gonna go with lemmings, but I don't even know what a lemming looks. Okay, okay. So the one going up there looks like a penguin, but the ones back here look like sheep. I'll give you that much. Okay, so if red team wins, is blue team overthrowing the government or trying
I don't
to?
think they're. I don't even think they're going to necessarily try to. I think they're just going to continue with the usual shenanigans of burning buildings and. Though I wouldn't even. That's the thing, though. I wouldn't even call them blue team. I mean, ultramarine blue, or something. They're like so far extreme blue, and same with the red side folk who would do stuff. It's not the run of the mill red team player that you run into that would be causing trouble. It's the extreme whatever extreme red is.
The funny thing is, like, despite what I see on the mainstream media and like the independent YouTubers, I have not seen like are there I mean, I'm sure there's neo Nazis out there. I'm sure there's like right wing whatevers, but I have not seen them do anything. Not since Charlottesville. How about that? Which was what, 2017? I don't know. What about Gold Team? So if the red or the blue party wins, is Gold Team riding? Is Gold Team trying to take down the government?
But we're always trying to take down the government. That's the whole point. Minimal government,
Are
right?
but are you taking it down through violence?
No, of course not. That would violate the NAP,
That would violate the what?
non-aggression principle.
Hmm. What is y'all's mascot, by the way?
Oh, the hedgehog, something.
You guys, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
The gold hedgehog?
Or yeah,
Okay, so Team Hedgehog. So if Team Hedgehog wins, is the red and the blue trying to overthrow the government? Like I said, we gotta play every single angle here.
eh. I don't think either side is going to be really trying to overthrow the government. I mean, the extreme red already have their shenanigans planned, and it doesn't matter. The extreme blue already have their shenanigans planned, and it's not going to matter. I mean, for fuck's sake, they were, trying to burn down the building of the crazy liberal mayor, Portland mayor. And it doesn't. They don't. It doesn't matter.
I'm really gonna have to do some side research. I don't know who the crazy reds are. Like I would assume they're neo Nazis. I would assume
I'm sure.
I don't know who they are, but in fact I don't think I've seen any of them burning down anything. But I feel like this is what I think. I think if blue team wins, I think that and we're talking about executive branch because you got to remember there's also Senate and House of Representatives seats up for grabs. I think if blue team wins, then I feel like red team will not keep they won't get the House, but they'll still keep the Senate, and that's kind of important. And I just feel like it'll be like them trying to find a more moderate candidate. Like red team will try to find a more moderate candidate. I don't feel like red team will do anything. Maybe they'll protest, but I feel like a lot of people that are red team, most of the ones that I see on mainstream and independent media, I feel like they'll protest. They won't shoot the blue people unless they're shot at, I guess. Um, and that's kind of how that will go for another 2 years until there's another House election and there's more Senate seats up for grab. I feel like if red team wins, this is what I feel. I feel like if red team wins the executive branch, that the blue team supporters, you know, the Antifas and the BLM guys, they'll be rioting and burning. But I feel like this time, I feel like President Trump, President-elect Trump, will enact the Insurrection Act.
Oh yeah, and that'll go great.
Well, he's not up for re-election. So this whole time, I felt like it was a power play. That's y'all? You're the fucking hedgehog?
Yep.
Okay. I feel like he held off on the Insurrection Act because even though he could have enacted it, it would have looked bad for him. And I mean, everything is fucking political. Can we agree? Can we agree to that? Everything's fucking political. So if he doesn't enact the Insurrection Act, then all the people that are living near these cities or in these cities where people are just rioting over whatever, they'll see what kind of government they've been living under. A government that says, yeah, it's mostly peaceful, you know, yeah, whatever, and we're not going to quell the riot. And people lose their businesses and they lose their homes, and in some cases lose their lives. And maybe that sways them. And instead, if he went in with, like, you know, federal troops, went in with the reservists, and he quelled it, then there would be nothing. We wouldn't even be talking about COVID on the media. There would be no COVID talk in the debates. It would be all, he's a tyrant. He's a you know, aristocrat. He is a king. He is going in and imposing his will. You know, so I feel like this time around, I feel like if red team wins and blue team riots, and most importantly, I think you got to pay attention is when you look at like the senators and the representatives. There's a lot of representatives and senators on the blue team that are saying nonchalantly, basically riot. You know, get in their faces. You know, get up in them, scream and shout at them, disturb them, bother them. And you got to notice, like, nobody on the red team does that. And to be honest, I don't think I've seen anybody on the gold team doing any of that at all. Shit. But yeah, I don't know. I think if gold team somehow fucking won, if somehow fucking won, you know what I think would happen?
Well, besides the system melting down because they don't have their power structure anymore, they do essentially the same thing when Trump first took office and kind of shore up their own networks, and you know,
But
keep on keeping on.
I I think there would be like some kind of like agreement to take out the other guy. Maybe it'd be a purple team. Maybe purple versus gold. Who knows? I don't know. I'll be honest. From like a betting standpoint, it's like a blue team has this chance of winning according to every major news outlet, and red team has this much. But depending on which poll you fucking look at and which people you talk to, like gold team is what I would like to see. I would like to see gold get more than double digit percentage in a state. That's what I'd like to see.
Oh yeah,
I would like to see
and
like maybe in Nevada, gold team gets like 9.5%, right? And then at least at that point, it's a respectable margin. Like oh,
well, 5% popular vote is the threshold for campaign funding, meaning the tax money that is stolen from all your paychecks and
no,
goes into this pool.
only if you let
Uh,
it. because you can check off to not donate to that. You totally can.
And when you that money, then they'd have access to some of that money. So
Do you donate to that?
5% to the libertarians.
No, 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 no. Like when they ask you if you want to donate money to the.
I don't donate to shit.
Mm,
Well, through the taxes,
through
I
taxes.
donate directly.
Right.
I donate time, I donate money, I donate supplies and things to specific causes, not to the government, who doesn't know how to manage its own money, so they keep taking ours.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about that too. I think if government, because I agree with you on small government. I think if we were at like the minimalist amount of government that was required to protect the sovereign rights of a nation, I feel like we wouldn't have a deficit. In fact, I feel like we would pay off the deficit in a matter of like a decade and a half, like in 15 years. If we didn't put the federal government in charge of all these social reforms.
Anything.
Yeah. Like, well, you got to pay for the military. And, I mean, there's a couple of things you got to pay. Right?
National defense is the only thing that the tax money should go to.
And national defense, I think, only makes up about 15%. As of, I think it was 2018, the last 15% of the government spending is national defense. So let that sink in.
Yeah, so we're being overtaxed, and they're stealing more money to fund all these stupid programs that they want to pay for.
Not just the programs. You got to remember, you're paying for Supreme Court justices. You're paying for federal judges. You're paying for House of Representatives.
Let's hit that for a second, since we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants tonight. Everybody's so up in arms. We just had the Supreme Court nominee confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's so up in arms about it, saying, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world. She's coming for our rights." Blah 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 blah. If you're that fucking terrified, doesn't that say something about the government, the Supreme Court, all these people having too much power over your lives?
No, I think this is what I think. I think a majority of those people that are saying that they're afraid, and most of them are doing it on TikTok, so that should tell you like the level of intelligence involved. Anybody that's like on TikTok, like voicing their opinions or reason, like get a YouTube channel. You know, fucking go on Twitch. You know, like fucking have something respectable to your name. Don't fucking. But most of those people don't understand what a Supreme Court justice is supposed to do. Like a justice is supposed to look at the Constitution and see whether how a case applies to federal law. You know, you have something like I think the biggest thing with ACB being on the Supreme Court justice is women's rights. And when they talk about women's rights, they're talking about abortion. It's like, does it say anything anywhere in the Constitution about the right to abort a fetus, to do it or to not do it? That's the first question. Does it say that women have the right to, you know, abort or keep it? Either way. And if the answer is no, then you know what? The federal government is out of it and it goes to the state. And that's exactly what should happen in every case. You know what does happen? A lot of those Supreme Court justices that are moderate or left-leaning, they try to think of what is the moral obligation, or, you know, how would Thomas Jefferson think about it today, or how would George, like that's not what the Constitution is. The Constitution outlines
you know, without that though, we'd still have slavery.
No,
you
we
know,
wouldn't. No, we wouldn't. We
things...
wouldn't, because we did amend the Constitution. So if you want to amend the Constitution to include abortion, that requires ratification through the states, which you can go through the process of doing that. But that's not what they're doing. What they do is they appoint Supreme Court justices. So instead of making a constitutional amendment, they just appoint a justice that interprets the law. And that's not what should happen. What should happen is the justice should say, this has nothing to do with the Constitution of the U.S. that's federalism, which is state level. So if you live in California and you want to do whatever, that's on California. If you live in fucking Iowa and you want to, that's how it should go.
Well, that's a big part of the problem is that the whole states' rights issues are being overlooked. I mean, if they did overturn Roe v. Wade, which may or may not happen, I don't personally don't think it will, but if they did, it doesn't outlaw abortions. It kicks it
No,
back to the states' rights.
exactly. That's why I think idiots on fucking TikTok like crying over the fact the Supreme Court justice they just. And here's the funny part: when you look at ACB, ACB is a conservative and she's a contextualist, which means she reads the Constitution, thee, this, thine, blah blah blah, as it was written in 17 almost 1800 English vernacular.
Well,
As
then
it
let's
was
see
written.
if she understands what the fuck shall not be infringed means.
Well, we'll see about that. But in this particular case you brought up, there's Neil Gorsuch, there's Kavanaugh, and there's her. And so not Neil Gorsuch, the other guy, he's the guy that Bush appointed. Can't think of him off the top of my head, but that guy has voted more liberally on anything. So when people talk about a 6-3 majority conservative, it's actually 5-4. It's actually 5-4 because that guy, ever since Bush appointed him, has been more in cahoots with the liberal side. And the liberal side, when they vote, they tend to do it more interpretation. Well, if I was Thomas Jefferson and I was living in 2020, what would I think of? Like, no. There's federal rights and there's states' rights. Kick it back to the states because it's nowhere in the Constitution. And if it's a big enough deal, then the voters are going to vote for representatives or senators that are going to make a bill. I mean, this is how it's supposed to work. But I think a majority of the people, I think you and I would agree, just they just vote straight ticket. Every year I vote for Nancy Pelosi because whatever. I'm not voting for that Republican. I'm not voting for that independent. Nancy Pelosi all the way. Chuck Schumer all the way. And this is kind of the reason we are where we are right now.
Well, the bottom line is we are being taxed at
roughly
being
30% on the federal rate.
Right. Fuck if you're in California.
Federal rate, not
Yes.
state.
So the bottom line is, why are they stealing our money for what? To pay for the bullshit. The only thing they should be paying for is the military, national defense. I don't even think that they should be paying. Well, I actually, with the justices and all that, I do see the logic in paying them a salary so that they're not catering and getting money elsewhere. But
you're paying for all of them. So you're paying for justices, you're paying for representatives, and you're paying for senators, and you're paying for the president's salary. That's what you're paying.
I want my fucking money back. They're all worthless. They need to be fired.
Like the president, I think makes about $400K a year. I think your average salary for a representative is about $205. You get $210 if you're the speaker. I think justices are like $225 a year, and I think senators are like $220. And if you're the majority speaker of this, well, if you're the Senate majority leader, you get, I think, like $230, $235. So just take 210 grand, times that by 400. Take another 220 grand, times that by fucking 100. Take 9 times that by 225 grand, and then add another 400 grand, and that's how much yearly you pay for your elected officials and your appointed officials. And we're not even talking about the federal judges either. So a lot of that is you're paying people to hold office, which supposedly, you elect, or you elect the president, and then the president appoints people. That's where a lot of taxes go. to running the government itself, and then yes, uh you pay for the military, so Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, which Marine Corps falls under Navy, and then you're paying for your agencies. You know, do you think the drug enforcement agency's worth the money? Do you think ICE is worth the money? Do you think ATF's worth the money? Do you think FBI is worth the money? Do you think CIA is worth the money? You're talking about a slew of alphabet agencies that your taxes go to.
No, I don't think it's worth the money.
And then, of course, if you pay state tax, which some states pay state tax and some states just have sales tax, like that money goes to obviously your infrastructure, your education system, your roads.
No roads, dude. We could build our own fucking roads.
I'd
be content with that.
No, I'm content with spending money on tobacco and booze and it paying for the roads. I'll tell you what, one tax I am not a fan of is property tax.
So, here's the thing. All this taxation is forcing pacifists and whatnot to pay for wars, for subsidies of it's this hokey bullshit. The subsidies, for in the farming and cattle and keep growing corn because if you switch to something else, then the federal government needs to shut the fuck up, stop taxing us as much, to stop taxing us at all on income tax. Just stop and move on. We did just fine until taxes were introduced. We were able to have roads before then. What the hell? Why can't we do that? No, it's not that. We don't need that. We need it for all their bullshit. That's why they keep doing it.
But you know why they keep doing it? Like when you look at federal tax, it's not just like when you look at what they take out. They take out money for welfare. They take out money for Social Security. They take out money for, Medicare. They take it out because people have complained enough that they've elected people that put that shit in. And the funny part is, like, I think when people bitch about red team, if you look at like the history of like, the Congress in general and the executive branch, and it's mostly been Democratic, since the inception of this nation. And as you know, like, Republicans they're definitely not libertarians, but if you look at it from a spectrum, you have libertarians on one spectrum, you've had Democrats on the other, and the Republicans would be kind of in the middle. I know you like to say that they're in cahoots, but Republicans do tend to lean towards less taxes and less federal regulation. So
yet here we are.
Here we are, but we've only had a handful of great Republicans. You've got Lincoln, you've got fucking Reagan, and you've got fucking Trump, which I think Trump is top tier. All right. So, what's your bold prediction? Your bold prediction is, who do you think's gonna win, and who do you want to win?
Well, I want the people to win.
So who's people?
I want both red and blue to lose.
So you want gold to win?
There's more than just red and blue and gold.
So who else is there? Green, white, the white party, the green party.
They've got a whole bunch. The Constitution Party, American Independent, bunch of stuff. But yeah, I am voting Libertarian because, in my opinion, that's the most aligned with my beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, if they start coming into power, I've got a lot of issues with the Libertarian Party as well. because nobody should be my ruler except my wife. Honey, if you listen to this, that's okay. You can be my ruler. But outside of that, no, none of those fuckers.
So you have who you want to win. You're voting for the Gold Party, which is the Libertarian Party. So it's safe to say you want them to win. Who do you think is actually going to win? Bold
Not the
prediction.
American people. The Federal Reserve. That's who's going to win.
Dude, just put something out there, man. Who do you think's going to win?
Honestly, I don't know. I try to mute all the stuff about the polling and Biden's polling here and Trump's polling here or polling these numbers, blah blah blah. I do think that the Democrats are underestimating, like they did in 2016.
So if somebody handed you $2,000, you found $2,000, or no, I mean, if somebody handed you $2,000,
Because if I found $2,000, you know what the fuck I'd do with it.
I know what you're doing with it, but I'm saying if somebody said, "I will give you $2,000, gamble it away," that's the only thing you're allowed to do with it. Gamble it away on the election. Who are you betting on? Polling or not polling, or what your gut feeling is, or are you betting $2,000 on the Gold Party?
No.
All right.
I'd bet we'd hit our 5% threshold this time around, though.
Okay, you're being a really great politician. Like, I ask you an honest question and you just kind of like skate around. I just need you to.
No, that is my honest answer. I'd bet that we'd hit the 5% threshold. It doesn't matter who. To me, it doesn't matter who wins. If Trump wins, if Biden wins, they're both pieces of shit. And.
But that's not the question.
My life is not going to change at all the day after.
You're right. It isn't, but it is. It is, but it isn't. So what I'm asking you is, your bet doesn't matter either way, except you make money. So distance yourself away from what happens. When somebody asks me, when I used to watch football, when I used to watch baseball, when I used to watch basketball, and they, who do you want to win? I want my team to win. That's who I want to win. Who do you think is going to win? I don't think my team has a good shot. Okay, my team isn't as good as the other team. So I think purple team's going to win, but I want gray team to win. And that's my honest answer. Like, if my team wins, I'm still rooting for my team to win, or maybe you're still rooting for your team to make a 5% threshold. But who do you honestly think is going to win the game? And in this case, the only difference is the fact that there's 3 teams playing, whereas normally when I'm watching basketball, baseball, or football, there's just 2 teams playing. So I want the Broncos to beat the Patriots, but the Patriots have Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, so I think the Patriots are going to win, especially since they're playing at Foxborough. That's how that's my honest take on it. So I'll ask you one more time: do you want your team to win, or you at least want your team to make a 5% threshold? But if you had to bet on which team was going to win, you honestly, between red, blue, and gold, you don't know. You know gold's not going to win, but between red and blue, you don't know who is going to win. That's your honest take.
Pretty much, and honestly, I don't really care that much. It's said that Trump is pro-gun, so there would be less issues with gun control things. Frankly, I think that if Biden pushes his thing, it's going to galvanize the gun owners, and will push gun control legislation to the Supreme Court faster, and we'll find out if our new Supreme Court justice truly is an originalist, and we'll find out there. So if I had the $2,000, I would try to take it to the bar and drink as much as possible, because I really don't care about the other two.
He says that until one of the two is elected, and then they.
And I'm gonna hate whoever it is. I'm gonna hate him.
You know what you remind me of? You remind me of my dad. So I didn't vote last election. My dad did. He voted for blue team. I didn't vote. I honestly, I did not vote. I did not like what I saw in either party. But I can tell you, after 4 wild years, I like a lot more of the red team than I do the blue team. Um, but he was like, at least I voted so I can complain. And he had a valid point. I was like, well, shit. I didn't even go out and vote. I really can't complain about how anything is going good or bad. Or so. Long story short, I think the red team is going to win, and I want the red team to win. I think that there's a lot of, I don't want to call them shy Trump voters, because I don't think Trump voters are really shy unless you're a convert. If you're a convertist, what you do notice is a majority of the people that are red team and they're going to blue team, they're very vocal about it. They're very like, hey, I don't like President Trump. And they're people that used to be on the cabinet. They're people that used to be, they're still senators or representatives, and they're like, I'm voting for Joe Biden. But you don't hear a lot of people that were blue team talking about openly they're voting red team, and there's a couple of reasons. Is because the blue team ostracizes everybody that says they're not voting blue team. If you're a black guy, black girl, and you're voting red team, then you're an Uncle Tom, or you're a whatever. If you're blue team and you're voting for, Trump, then you're not black. If you're blue team and you're voting for Trump, then you might get shot. They might fucking burn your building down. They might burn it down anyway, but the price for speaking your mind and voting, which is your God-given right, which is supposed to be enforced by the Constitution, all amendments, women's suffrage, and the amendment to allow slaves to vote and own property. The blue team's not very cool about that. So what it seems like to me, when you talk about like being a person who was a Republican and you're voting for Biden, everybody is welcoming you with open arms. The mainstream media, fucking celebrities, everybody's like, oh, come here, brother, come here, sister, come here, friend. But when you look at like a lot of the blue teamers that are defecting, they're not open-minded. They're not open-mouthed. But all the red teamers, the hardcore Trumpers, they're out there driving the trucks, driving the boats, and they're out there at the rallies. Thousands of people don't give a fuck about COVID, wearing masks, not wearing masks, doing whatever, because they love fucking Trump. So what I'm saying is, I think Trump will win in a landslide. I think he will beat Biden by more than he beat Hillary. That is my bold prediction. I want red team to win, and I think red team will win. I would put that $2,000 forgivable loan, I would put it all in the Trump train, because I think there's a lot of people.
I disagree. I disagree. I think it's going to be a lot closer than you think.
So it's going to be closer than the Hillary election.
Yep.
And
because Hillary won because the Democrats got complacent.
Hillary won?
Or Trump won in that election because the Democrats got complacent. She thought she had it in the bag. All the polling was in her favor.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, she skipped several locations for her campaigning and whatnot. Right now, they've been campaigning the last 4 years about Orange Man Bad.
That is the parties in a general, though. That's not Biden, though. That's all 2020.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But they've been pushing that and saying that, oh my God, it's the end of the world, and we have to get him out, and keeping people fired up. When Hillary lost, it was because her base didn't turn out. They were just, I don't need to take the time to do this. I don't think that's the case this time around. I mean, you see the lines for voting and things like that, and a big part of that is, I think, overhype. I don't think they're much longer than the other ones, but they're pushing that to show the narrative they're trying to show is that it's important that you go and vote. So the media is more on board with trying to get people. I mean, fuck, man. Like, we talked about before. Every goddamn app you have is like telling you, don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote. Mm-hmm. Have you voted yet? Kind of shit. So I think it's going to be closer because of those reasons.
So you mean closer in the electoral college, not in the general, not in the popular vote?
Well, both, but even in the electoral college, those swing state voters,
Hmm.
everybody's going to be out and voting. Um,
So what you're saying for that to be true, right? Because you got to remember that a majority of those states that Hillary won, like she basically won every major metropolitan city in a lot of the states. So what even and you got to remember most of the population lives there, but you still have like let's say Nowhere, Nebraska. Nowhere, Nebraska has Omaha and has Lincoln as the capital. So you have Omaha and you have Lincoln. So those might be bluish cities, but every other county outside that, you're telling me that like the Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook, the YouTube, all those apps are going to mobilize all those country kids to go vote for the blue team. And something else you got to remember is that most of those kids that have that opinion that Orange Man bad, like those kids either lived in the city, they've lived in the city their entire life and they have that group think, or a lot of those kids that are voting that way because that's what the apps are. I don't think the Instagram go out and vote app is or reminders is applicable to a 50-year-old, to a 40-year-old, maybe to a 30-year-old, but I don't think that it's going to hit those kids that were raised in those counties by conservative libertarian parents, and then maybe that kid decides to go to college or get a job in the city, and all of a sudden he just fucking radically flips his mind to where he thinks blue team good. Because like most of your values and stuff that you learn occurs from age 1 to 10. So from 1 to 10, that's when you basically formulate. Not saying it doesn't happen, because I mean obviously when you grew up to where you are now is a lot different. But is the fact that Instagram's telling me to vote, or YouTube, or Facebook, or Google, or fucking whoever, is that enough to? Because I would
it's
say
not just that, but you've got a whole generation or a whole new generation of voters who weren't able to vote in the 2016 election. They're young. They're reaching the age that they can vote, or they reach the age they can vote. And I think that is going to play a big effect. The younger voters do lean Democrat and tend to embrace technology and Instagram and all that shit. So those are the people that they're targeting, those younger voters, and I think it will make a difference.
mm,
Wisconsin and Michigan, that's 26 electoral votes right there.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I know Trump's really been focusing on Wisconsin, but
And Michigan.
and Michigan, but in particular Wisconsin with their recent hubbubs and whatnot. I think that may flip. Um, Michigan, I think as well. They've been they were hit with hard times and they went red, but what's happened over the past 4 years for them?
I think if you're an intelligent voter, you realize that a lot of that shit was federalism and not, the federal government. A lot of that stuff that they've incurred, like the federal government can only do so much. So as far as renegotiating a NAFTA deal, as far as imposing tariffs on European steel and Chinese steel, um, I would hope that most of the people that vote are informed, because I think that's a huge problem. I think people just go.
Okay, right there. You would hope that most of the people are informed,
Hmm.
and that therein lies the fucking problem
I agree.
because they're not.
They're not. Mm. So what you're saying is you're going to go ahead and renege on your last bet, your $2,000, forgivable loan, no interest. You're going to say blue team's going to take it?
I'm not sure. I'm just
Oh,
saying it's not going. I mean, I'm just saying that it's
you're
not going
playing
to
you're
be.
playing devil's advocate right now. That's what you're doing.
No, I'm saying that what I was saying was that it is not going to be a landslide, and he's not going to beat more than um, win with a bigger margin than Hillary.
So you think it'll be tighter either way?
Yes,
Joe Biden could
absolutely.
win, Trump could win, but the margin of victory will be slimmer than it was last election.
And there's going to be more drama surrounding the results.
All right. Last question before we segue to the next topic. How much is voter fraud going to play? Talked about it last
I'm
week, but yeah.
I'm pretty certain there's going to be voter fraud on both sides. I don't. I think the fact that both sides are doing their best to cheat the system is not going to actually play that much, except in the media when it's ultimately discovered.
Now, when we talk about the media, we're talking mainstream media. We're talking ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN,
After the fact, yeah. I
Fox.
mean, if Biden, because think about it, if Biden wins,
Mm-hmm.
what are all these companies going to have to do? They're going to have to shift to. They're going to have to shift because they can't just, you know, keep jerking off about what Orange Man did today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to shift. I mean, with all the Hunter laptop stuff, this is my prediction. If Biden wins, um, the media is finally going to cover the security risks and security breach with Hunter Biden's laptop.
You really think
Joe
so?
Biden Joe Biden's gonna say gonna do the mea culpa and step down, and we'll have President Harris.
LOL. That is a wild theory. I like it though. I like it. You know what I thought was funny was when they were talking about the 25th Amendment, which is like uh, overthrowing like the president and having the vice president step in. You know, that was one of the
Mm-hmm.
quivers in the arrow that Nancy Pelosi talked about, and everybody thought they were talking about Trump's, you know, Trump's ability to be the president. When Trump was like, "No, they're not talking about me. They're talking about Joe Biden." I was like, "Yo, that actually makes a lot more sense than overthrowing Trump." So,
Well, because they would never pull it on Trump anyway, because Pence is even more hardline conservative,
mm,
so they wouldn't have done that to Trump
yeah,
unless they could get Pence out as well. Then it would go to
then
Nancy.
they would go to Nancy. Yeah,
And in another prediction is that this is going to be drawn out until what
the
is it
28th
after?
of January, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and then Nancy steps in and does what she wants.
So here's a funny question. Everybody asked Trump. They go, would you accept the results of the election? And then people ask Joe Biden, would you concede? And Hillary's like, don't concede under any circumstances. So in the event that this gets drawn out in the courts until the 20 something of January, if Nancy Pelosi becomes the interim president, and then either Joe Biden or, well, let's say Trump, because if it was Joe Biden, she would probably relinquish power to Joe Biden. But if Trump ended up being deemed the victor, would she peacefully transfer power to the president-elect?
After dragging it out as long as possible, yes.
That woman is such a clown, in my opinion. Like everybody said Hillary was such a bad person, but like when I started like learning about her, I honestly did not really. I mean, that's just honest. I think that woman is a lot worse than Hillary.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I think she's a shrew, but I think that she values her legacy as well,
Mm-hmm.
and would try to cram as many things into that time as possible. And
Mm-hmm.
then we'll say it was a week or two, or a month.
A month. Yeah.
So she'd try to cram in as much as she could in that month that would bolster her legacy,
Right. I think. Yeah.
and then do the transition of power back to Trump. Um,
Yeah, that would be
so
interesting.
yeah, I don't think there's going to be any craziness like that. And I don't fault Trump for saying, not answering. Oh, like because they're angling for a, oh, you said you'd concede on election night kind of soundbite type of thing.
And then he,
Um,
wants a recount in Florida.
right.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't either. So basically, the this channel, the Jake and Drake Show, we are going to be going live on Tuesday.
With alcohol.
Yeah, we haven't figured out what the rules to the game are.
I think we're just going to need to drink to keep listening to the bullshit.
It is a long period of time. Polls close at 7. And even still, like, since a couple state Supreme Courts ruled that you can collect election results 4 days after the election, which is, I don't know what fucking world we're living in. Like, I really don't. Like, well, it's COVID. You know what? There was a flu in fucking 1920, and people still voted for a president. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Well, absentee ballots, and no, like, here's the thing is, like, when I had an absentee ballot, if I didn't get it postmarked by a certain time, it wasn't counted, and that was on me.
Yes, and they're saying it as long as it's postmarked by election day.
But
it has to be. It has to be postmarked by election day, and they have to receive it within 4 days after the election.
But that makes no sense because the ballots close at 7 and they start counting at 7. It should be postmarked like the day prior. If it's in state, it would make sense to be postmarked the day prior.
Well, if they drop it in the mailbox after 7 p.m., it is not going to get the postmark.
If, for example, ballots are counted 7 p.m., like final ballots are counted 7 p.m. on the 3rd of November. That's when they're counted. So, if you put your mail in the mailbox at, on the 3rd of November in the morning, there's a chance that it won't get counted. You should have fucking submitted it the night of the 2nd, in state. That's not anybody's fault but yours. Like, you have the right to vote, but also you have the right to, it is your responsibility with that right to make sure that nobody goes, hey, Darian, by the way, your electric bill is due on the 15th. And if we don't get your payment by the 15th, we're going to cut your fucking power. That's you know what I mean? Like the whole point of, well, if you have it postmarked the day after, we'll still count. That's never worked in election history ever. And people remember there were world wars going on. There's been a fucking civil war going on. There's been fucking plagues and epidemics going on. Like, that has happened throughout the entire history of our country. Yet for some reason, in 2020, you can have it postmarked the day after and have it counted 3 days after. I don't understand.
Not postmarked the day after, postmarked day of.
Yeah. Still doesn't make sense to me.
It has to be postmarked of basically you have to put it in the mail that day. You
need to start treating adults like adults. That's what we need to start doing. It is your responsibility to have it in the mail.
And frankly, my personal belief is that no, you shouldn't make it that much easier because I think the mail-in voting is stupid.
I agree with you.
And that is prone to fraud. I'm not saying that there's going to be more or less fraud this time around. Detected, I should say. But yeah, no, they should do absentee ballots the way they do absentee ballots and have done it. And leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy, but so the ballots close. They start closing 7 Eastern. So this channel will be going live on Tuesday at 6:30. Well, we'll just say 6:30 Eastern time. So 6:30.
Are you kidding?
Well, dude,
that early?
Well, that's when the ballots start closing, man. And like we will be like,
polls.
So, that's when the polls start closing. So just make sure you start drinking early. I mean, eating early. No, actually, I mean drinking early. Make sure everybody tuning into the channel starts drinking early, getting that nice friendly buzz in. So if your team doesn't win, there's probably enough dehydration that set in that the tears won't fall. Darian will be popping in from time to time. He's attending. Unlike the rest of us deplorables, he's got friends, and so he will be spending time with his friends, celebrating the 5% vote.
Celebrating the end of the election season.
Amen to that.
Thank fucking dog.
Did you say dog?
Yep, thank dog.
I thought you weren't a religious person. I thought you would say the G-O-D.
And that's why I thank dog.
Yeah, it'll be great. Yeah, at the end of the election, you will see COVID magically go away. Um, you'll see a lot of things go away, like those annoying ads in your YouTube videos. So, whew. So
And
this
I want those
channel.
annoying text messages to stop from the unions telling me to vote for what is it? Vote no on Prop 22 in California.
Hmm,
Fuck that. If I was still in California, I'd be voting yes as hard as I possibly could.
I didn't know you
And
worked
not
for a
just because I
union.
agree with it. Huh?
I didn't know you worked for a union.
I didn't. I mean,
So,
I did. I worked for a union. I was never a union member.
mhm.
I did work for a union. I could go into detail about that.
Then
But
just
that's a
change your
whole
phone
other story.
number. Why do you still have the same phone number? Change your fucking phone number.
Because I've got like two. I'd have to
Wait,
notify all these different people, and
hold on a
yeah.
second. I'm gonna look your
I
phone
don't
number.
face. I don't face Facebook to like update my phone number for everybody to have it. Fuck that. It's one of the reasons why I don't use Facebook is when they started screeching about getting my phone number.
Hold on, don't answer the phone. I'm calling you right now. Yeah, you still have a California area code. What the
Yeah,
fuck? God damn it, change your phone number. I thought you were proud of Idaho.
I do.
Well, then get an
Let me.
Idaho number.
I do.
So you have two phones? You have a California and an Idaho phone?
Yeah.
Oh god. All right. Well, uh,
This is my the bitches calling phone.
I see how it is. I see how it is. Long story short, tune into the stream. We'll be starting 6:30 Eastern time.
I think honestly though, I think we should start later, just because they're not going to be reporting results until after the polls close on the West Coast.
Mm, well, I will be live at 6:30.
There you go.
Darian will drop in when he drops in. I will be here for you. You can leave your questions, your comments. I'll be interacting with the chat. We'll be watching unaffiliated named news source live as the coverage comes in of state polls closing or ballots. No, as I said, polls closing and tallies coming in. Red, blue, green, white, and gold parties included. And we will be getting drunk as fuck throughout the night. And even if my team loses, they lose. That's cool. It just gives me more incentive to join the system when I retire. I'll be running for representative of District 245 or some shit like that. But tune in. Share some love, share some hate. Doesn't matter. Any interaction is better than no interaction. And most importantly, like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Anything else you can think of there, Air Darian?
Just the voter guide, and
I don't even know who the fuck Hawkins is.
that's the Green Party candidate. But
Obviously.
he's not on all 50 states ballots. He got kicked off in Arizona or Texas, because of the blue team shenanigans.
Hmm.
Jorgensen is, despite the red team shenanigans.
Yeah, she was on the ballot when I voted. And the first thing I thought of was like, hey, didn't he say? And then you told me later, no, they tried to, but they didn't succeed. And I was just like, all right, whatever, bro. I just know I had to put a fucking finger condom on when I voted. Which I should have done. You know what I should have done? I should have taken the
So like
finger.
your regular size condoms.
Yes. What I should have done is I should have taken the finger condom off and just left them in like the center console. So that anybody that got in my truck was like, what's that? I was like, oh, it's just a condom. It's a used condom. Yes, it's my used condom. I should have done that. I didn't do it. I regret it. Maybe I'll go back and try to vote again. But that being said, this will conclude the show. I'm Jake.
I'm Drake. Don't I get my final thought
Yeah, I just
or the
realized
final
that.
word?
Yeah, get your final word, dude. Get it in, man.
This is what we're all gonna need as a country.
Is that a stick of dynamite or what? What is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, that's it. It's a stick of dynamite.
It does not look like a joint, and it does not look like. It looks like, if anything, dude, what is that? Seriously, that looks like
Somebody lighting a joint.
that does not. That does not look like a joint. All right, you need to step your joint game up. You need to step your gift game up. But that's your final word there. Light up a joint. What about those of us that can't light up joints because of
My final word is that really, it doesn't matter who you vote for. We the people are going to lose. The Federal Reserve's going to win. And we're all, November 4th is going to be just the same as before. Because left boot or right boot, it feels the same when it's on your fucking throat. So vote for Joe. Joe Jorgensen, not Joe with an E.
Joe Biden? 30330 to Joe. But yeah,
Vote gold.
Vote gold. Thank you very much. That's gold with an L for Libertarian Party. There you go. That was a better gift right there. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hopefully at some point this motherfucker will get his camera set up. It'll
be set up soon.
He's a perfectionist. I can't rush perfection apparently, but ugh. All right. Well, that being said, let's run this again. This concludes the show. I'm Jake.
This concludes the show. Don't forget, go vote. Check your box for a piece of shit.
Mm.
And I'm Drake.
And this is Jake and Drake Show. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you on Tuesday. Live stream of the voting elections as they come in.
Special edition of the Jake and Drake Show.
All right. Toodles.